The Republican Party looked at a man that a jury found liable for abusing women, ran him for president twice, where he won, and that party is currently tossing cash at that man for a ballroom with a drone port. Yet our side, the Democratic Party, looks at a Marine veteran who's beating Susan Collins in the polls and has immediately formed a circular firing squad. You know the old military adage, friendly fire isn't? That applies right here. And that is what's happening in the Maine Senate race right now. Graham Platner, the populist oyster farmer, leading the very entrenched Republican incumbent Susan Collins. And it seems like Platner is having to fight his own side harder than he has to fight the GOP. So I'm going to start with this. Platner is not a flawlessly clean candidate at all. To say he has baggage is to put it mildly. And yes, more of that baggage came to light over the weekend when it was reported that Platner had exchanged explicit texts with several women before he ever even ran for office. And his wife, the person actually wronged here, had flagged these text messages and sent them to his campaign so they'd have a heads up. And this week, she had to post a video calling the mainstream media's coverage shameless. And she made it clear that her and her husband worked through these issues in counseling and asked everyone to refocus on the campaign. And again, to be clear, this is between two adults in their marriage. The person it happened to has forgiven him, and it predates the campaign entirely. Yet if you listen to the Democratic establishment, their response to this guy who's winning was to start sweating through their shirts. Cory Booker has concerns. A former Biden comms director went on CNN and called Platner unpalatable. Chuck Schumer backed his opponent, the other Democratic candidate, until she dropped out. The instinct, every single time, on our side is to find the populist who's actually generating excitement in our party and ask, but is he polished enough for us? I mean, is he an elite? Is he like us? Meanwhile, look across the aisle. And I'm not saying we should emulate them, but I just want you to see what's happening. Republicans nominate a Ken Paxton, a man impeached by his own party, and they circle the wagons to protect him. They nominate Donald effing Trump and his 34 felony convictions, the Epstein files, and literally hundreds of other unsavory things about him, and they don't blink. The modern GOP would nominate a near-death, demonic, and ill-tempered ostrich, as long as that ostrich found a way to own the libs. And Democrats are over here clutching pearls because a Marine running an anti-billionaire campaign sent inappropriate text that his wife has already forgiven him for. And yes, he's got a messy past, but he owns up to it. He's not polished. And no, I do not excuse what he's done in the past. I know about the tattoo that he had covered up. I know about his activity on Kick, and I know about his out-of-hand comments on Reddit. I know all of that, and I am not telling you to ignore it. Don't ignore any of it. Character counts. But I've got to tell you, there's a difference between having a pattern of mistreating people and a few private things that a guy owns up to or atones for. He is not hiding any of this. He's not out there lawyering up. He admits he's rough around the edges and says he's got growing to do. You know who else says things like that? Normal human beings. But that's not enough for the DNC. I mean, if you recall, AOC got the exact same elitist sneers when she started. Remember? The corporate Dems didn't like her either. Her working as a bartender to help her mom fight off foreclosure. And, she was a democratic socialist. Gasp. The DNC could never allow that. Look, perfect candidates do not exist. And our party waits every time for perfect. And then we end up with a wet blanket and nobody bothers to show up to vote for him. And I'm not saying we should throw out moral standards and throw those out the window like the Republicans are. Not at all. But you have to remember that while everyone's busy with Platner's texts or his tattoos, the thing Susan Collins is praying that you're not looking at is how she chairs the Senate Appropriations Committee and her husband holds tens of thousands of dollars in stock in defense contractors. Boeing, RTX, the exact companies that profit from the wars she funds. And yes, I know she's suddenly anti-war because the polls told her to be. But she is the actual scandal. Her policies have cost this country dearly for over 30 years. Collins is the one with a paper trail and a voting record to be ashamed of. But sure, let's spin news cycle after news cycle on a guy's text messages. I will never be the guy that asks if a candidate's spotless. My first question about any candidate is, who do they actually fight for? People like Graham Platner are running against billionaires in a broken system. A system that Collins built. And she's running interference for defense stocks and Donald Trump enriching himself. One of them has flaws, a lot of them. The other has helped break our country's spine. Maine votes June 9th. Subscribe, hit that bell icon, because we are going to be watching the paper trail while everyone else is worried about the texts.